Well, we've made our way down the Archibald de Leon Highway, named after two Point Fortin footballing legends, here to the Point Fortin facility, Mahaika Sporting Complex, for Coca-Cola Intercol South Zone semi-final action. It's going to be a doubleheader, but it starts with St. Benedict's College, former defending champions of the South Zone in the Coca-Cola Intercol, going up against Pleasantville Secondary School. Before we go any further, let's look at the weather here in this neck of the woods. It's 32 degrees Celsius, wind speeds of 18 kilometers per hour, and humidity index at 69%. Beautiful clouds in the sky, if I do say so myself. My name is Hans Veens. Joining me on the pitch, Colin Murray, who didn't have such a great day yesterday, seeing his alma mater, Fatima College, not making it into the Coca-Cola North Zone Intercol finals. And I'm seeing James Saunders in the background there laughing. And of course, Brent Sancho, who is celebrating all the way as a former Trinidad and Tobago national player. But guys, let's look at how we got to this point in terms of the Coca-Cola Intercol South Zone.
Well, it's been smooth sailing so far for the teams in South, well, the top teams that is, of course, as you look at it, the Naparima College result, 5-0 against St. Madeleine, St. Benedict's College with a huge win, 12-1 against Point Fortin, Presentation, 14-0 against Sipara, and of course, Pleasantville Secondary, a team that really struggled in the Premiership, able to come out with a 3-1 win and make themselves much present here at the Mahaika Oval.
Well, it's a doubleheader today. Colin Murray, what do you make of today's fixtures?
Well, you look at St. Benedict's, Pleasantville. St. Benedict's, you have to think that they're firm favourites. The other game, Presentation College and Naparima, that can go either way. That's going to be a real top encounter, and it's going to be good. It's going to be a real good game. Predicting the winner is going to be difficult.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Pleasantville Secondary School. Last time we saw them, they were facing East Mucurapo Secondary. The score was 8-0, and somewhere inside of there, Pleasantville were able to find 5 goals and show some quality, some serious quality. Brent, let's talk about Pleasantville Secondary.
Yeah, they came to life. And it's a team that really struggled. We talked about the heavy defeats they've had throughout the Premiership season, but there's some good individual talent. A young man by the name of Williams, he created history right here on SportsMax. He was able to get a trophy, although being on the losing side, and that was because of the way he performed. That is the type of performance they need here today. Coach Julian talked about the belief that he's instilling in them since he's come in, and that is why we still believe that they have a chance like anybody else. They come up against a tough opposition, but Pleasantville is certainly showing a bit of life.
Well, Coach Julian caught up with James Saunders earlier, and this is what Coach Julian had to say.
Coach, Pleasantville didn't have the best of seasons in the league competition, but you made a good start in the Intercol. What's he feeling like?
The feeling is very confident. These guys have been working hard, tirelessly behind the scenes. Things have changed, so they're ready for the encounter today.
Benedicts, that's a Goliath in your way today. How are the boys preparing for that?
Mentally, they're in a better position than they were last time, right? So they'll be preparing mentally. They know the challenge they have to face. They know what they have to do. They know they have to have everything on point today. So, as I said before, I think they're ready for the challenge today.
You've gotten a win under your cap so far in the Intercol. Since you've come in, the team has improved. What differently have you done in this Pleasantville squad to instill that belief?
Okay, so with this squad, you know, with this generation, it's a different generation. So you have to meet them there halfway. It's not just like about football alone. You have to do with football, you have to do with mental issues, you have to deal with all these things. So it's a combination of a number of things that has gotten them to where they're at right now. And we just have to keep pushing forward and we'll get where we want to be as a school.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
A lot to deal with, but they are ready for the Goliath. But let's talk a little bit about the Goliath, Colin Murray, St. Benedict's College, defending Coca-Cola Intercol South Zone champions.
Listen, guys, this is Intercol, okay? Anything can happen. We saw what happened yesterday, okay? And the same thing can happen today. St. Benedict's, they've got to be wary because Pleasantville, they've got nothing to lose. They're relegated. They're going down in the championship. So they're going to come out fighting today. They're going to try to win every ball, every second ball, and if they get a chance or two, try and put it away. Having said all of that, though, the class of St. Benedict's is the problem. They're a classy team. They've got Webb, they've got Niles, they've got a really good classy team. However, if complacency sets in and the intensity of Pleasantville coupled with that, then this game could be really interesting. But you have to think St. Benedict's going to win it.
Well, more than a classy team, they also have a very classy coach. James Saunders caught up with Coach Boyce, and this is what he said.
Coach, this is a competition you just missed out in last year. You have an opportunity to go all the way this time. What's it feeling like in your camp?
Well, I would say the energy is high, the spirits is good, the guys ready and ready to go, and we just want to play.
You'd have seen your arch rivals, Fatima College, lose out yesterday. Any feelings from the Benedicts camp regarding that?
No, not necessary. It just let us know that we had to be humble at all times, go out and play the football, get the job done, and just take it one game at a time. Be patient.
Some people might say that you're one of the informed teams in the competition. 12 games unbeaten since your last defeat. What's the form on your team like?
The form is good, but at this stage of the tournament, it just takes one game to wipe out that. So we have to be grounded, and we will treat it as it is. Go one game at a time, and just keep it simple, because these Pleasantville, who we're playing today, they don't really have anything to lose. They get relegated and they're playing down next year. So they were glad to get a scalp like Benedicts today. So we have to be cautious of that going into the game. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Glad to take down a squad like Benedicts today. No room for complacency, Brent Sancho.
Yeah, and I think Coach Boyce touched on everything. I think that result yesterday, Colin, sorry to bring it back up, with Fatima College, I think that was a wake-up call for many schools that believe that they have the chance to lift the title. And I think Coach Boyce summed it up well. He's looking out for complacency, and I'm very sure he told his charges, let's be on our P's and Q's.
What I liked about him, he said, let's stay grounded.
Correct.
And that's the important thing.
Yeah.
They've got to stay grounded.
Well, we'll take you through to the titles via the SportsMax app. Download the SportsMax app today on the Google Play or Apple App Store. When we come back, kickoff inside Coca-Cola Intercol South Zone, semi-final number 1. St. Benedict's College, defending champions, going up against Pleasantville Secondary School. We bring you the action live here at Mahaika Sporting Complex.
Well, Clifton Hill, Point Fortin Beach, providing the ideal backdrop for this fixture. Life may just not be a beach for one of these teams as St. Benedict's College come up against Pleasantville Secondary in the semi-final of the South Zone Intercol. Hello everybody, welcome to Mahaika Oval, one of the iconic venues here in Point Fortin, the southwestern peninsula of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago for this classic matchup. First sighting of the boys who will be in action that will entertain us for the next 90 minutes. My name is James Saunders, and Brent Sancho, former TNT and World Cup defender, will be alongside me to break down all the action and bring you all of the excitement. St. Benedict's College, of course, did get to the final of the Intercol, National Intercol last year. They lost out to Fatima College. Well, they are no more. They're out of the competition, booted out yesterday. And St. Benedict's College, one might argue, might be one of the overwhelming favorites. That means nothing, though. This level of competition just takes a W to send you packing. Pleasantville Secondary, though, certainly have a tough task ahead of them. 12 losses in this year's competition. Just one solitary win. And they certainly would be hoping to gather that sling to slay the Goliath that will stand in front of them. Time to introduce you to our referees for this match. Cohen Colley will hold the whistle. He will be assisted by Shilin Phillips and Richard Tang Lee, while Anas Mohammed will act as the fourth official. Captains having a word. Maureen and Cameron Wiley, the men representing their teams in this contest. As we get you introduced to exactly who will be playing. And look at that, in goal, Clark will start with the gloves. He's injured early in the season, but he's rebounded well to get back in contention. But look out for that man, Keon Williams, who wears the number 10. He will be the man they will bank on to get the goals. Julian Roberts, the former Peeville midfielder, is on the bench.
Yeah, Williams up front, certainly the focal point for Pleasantville, and Clark making that recovery to make sure that he gets the gloves and the start this afternoon. Oh, it's a more familiar look when you look at the team in green. Two-time Intercol champions since 1964. 4 times South Zone Intercol champions prior to that. And they've got a team that have been there, done that. Won the league last year with Nashon Alexander and company. Jeremiah Niles will be expected to pick up some of the slack, while Malachi Webb will be one of those entrusted to get the goals with Joseph in attack. Well, Niles in the middle of the park. Noah Chua, 1 yellow card away from suspension. Devonish in goal in a 4-2-1-3 formation. Very fluid. Webb will be the focal point for St. Benedict's College. Oh, he looks as ready as anybody to get this contest underway. Well, they need to be ready. Certainly got to be on maximum concentration. St. Benedict's College, of course, a team that has produced so many fine players in the competition. One of the founding teams in this competition when it started back in 1908. And they certainly would be hoping to be the champion, the last team standing at the end of this competition. Mahaika Oval is ready for action, and so are we. This is the South Zone Intercol semi-final, game number 1. And already keep a call into action, Clark, early in the fixture. Of course, our Brent Sanchez alongside me as the drums accompanies the spectators around the ground. Keys to this match, Brent? Yeah, I think from a Pleasantville secondary, it's about match management, making sure that they don't concede early and take the game in increments and try to neutralize this very potent St. Benedict's team. That is what it's all about. That's a pass back. And that's one of the keys to the game, not making silly mistakes. And they have done it. Oh, trouble in the camp, as they say. Well, I think from a St. Benedict, James' perspective, this more of the same, please. They've been on a scorching run of form, but complacency. We saw it yesterday. They know they can't afford to do it today, despite the level of opposition. And it's key for them to do that. So all eyes will be on the player. Malachi Webb forcing the error. As this one, can't do that at this level.
Phillip squatting it back to Clark, who, well, he picked it up. Means that we'll have to get 2 touches to be able to score from an indirect free kick. Well, they're all queuing up. They all want a piece of this. Niles looks closest. Whoa, Malachi Webb, it's gone in. And that is the first goal of the match. Open sesame. He's found a way in. St. Benedict's College lead 1-0.
Yeah, so much for keys to the game. Went out the window right away. It was so important for this Pleasantville team to keep this St. Benedict's attack at bay for long, but they couldn't. The initial mistake from the pass back. Look at this for a flawless finish. Not necessarily something that happens because you're in front of goal. It's still difficult to get it in, but Malachi White makes sure that was easy. The keeper position, it certainly comes into question. Probably needed to be ahead of the wall and not behind the wall.
Benedict's College, well, perhaps one of the fastest goals we've seen this competition. It's difficult. Pleasantville secondary, certainly one of the teams that languished at the bottom of the table for much of the league campaign. One wonders how much an early goal will affect their confidence. Well, there's bright sunshine and a very grassy Mahaika oval surface. To have an opportunity to walk about the turf and just a slight bit of moisture on the feet. It's a lot better than what we've seen in recent time.
Yes, certainly is. It's humid out there, it's hot, but in terms of the playing surface, there is some parts of it that's quite soft, particularly in the shaded areas that the stadium is covering. It's very soft in those areas. It's quite flat, it's grassy, as you mentioned, James, but it's not overly grassy. So it does make passing the football not as taxing as in some of the venues that we've seen. Certainly fits into this St. Benedict's team's mold. They are a team that likes a short passing and mixes it up. They try to get their wingers going. So good surface, good pitch, good weather, good conditions. Hopefully a good game of football.
Well, it's at Pleasantville. Already Williams getting in the action. One of the players we warned you to look out for, but this pass will be very easy in the end for Team Devonish. Don't fancy that Pleasantville will have much of the possession in this match. It all comes down to what they do when they do have possession. Here's a man who has possession, Daniel Jones. He's gone past his man, but he perhaps did too much, but it will be a goal kick. Daniel Jones, of course, the son of a Point Fortin legend, a man well known in these parts, Philbert Jones, and cousin Kenwin Jones, former national skipper, Sunderland player. Just come from good stock. Well, here he is again, and well, that one just dropped almost invitingly behind the goalkeeper. Will be another goal kick.
It's not an easy task, James, for a team like Pleasantville to come up against a team that's informed the way St. Benedict's is. And it's not just because they have the capable individuals. What you sense there's a swagger, there's a sense of determination. They do feel that they released their handle of the Premiership title probably a bit too easy for their liking. And this is a team that believes that they deserve more. And we've seen it in their results, and we've seen it so far in their performance. They've been at Pleasantville from the first whistle.
Well, they did score 51 goals this season in the league campaigns in Benedict's College. Just 12 conceded. In fact, 10 conceded against them. Did start the campaign on rocky, slippery slope, losing some early matches. Have rebounded well. 12 games on the trot, undefeated. Well, that pass is intercepted, and it may well go out into touch. It's a throw. Anthony Williams, one of the newer faces in the St. Benedict camp. It's well won by Grant. Physical figure trying to find Malachi Webb. That pass is cut out. Sean Alexander. Well, clever. From Webb, he's opened up some space ahead of him and he tried to pick out the far post, but that one just drifted over the top. The intentions are clear.
Yeah, we talked about this St. Benedict's team coming up with a purpose. They've really played some good front foot football. As we look at the St. Benedict, all smiles. James, why not? You're up 1-0. 7 minutes or so in. And you would think, James, that Fatima result will resonate around the St. Benedict's camp. As we have a look at Coach Randolph Boyce.
But he did downplay it in the opening interview, but I'm sure.
I'm sure he will. But deep down inside, he knows if they are to come out of the south zone, then it looks like possibly a smoother sailing than it would have been if Fatima was in it. And that's take all due respect to the teams in the east and, of course, Central and Tobago. But St. Benedict's has done a good job of taking care of all comers in front of them. Tell you what, you just feel, James, if it had another 2 rounds of football in the league, they may have caught up.
To climb a long way to get back into second position. Army and Lions, and well, this is good. Keeper's quick. He did get a touch, but didn't get all of it. It's kept alive by Webb. Still got options in the middle. And finally, the red shirts play any danger. Only as far as this man will swing it back in, LaShawn Morris. Oh, that's good. Jaden Grant almost finding the far corner. Pleasantville, they're living dangerously. Have struggled getting out of their half. Pleasantville. Well, it's lost that in a bad area. And Webb. It's been a torment all afternoon so far.
Yeah. And for Peeville right now, it's all about trying to keep the ball out of the back of the net. As you rightfully say, James, they've struggled to not just keep possession, but to move the ball through the various thirds. So it's all about keeping that ball out the net. That's a good ball.
Well, we'll have to try here. And could save in the end from Clark. Got done well. Has been the busier of the goalkeepers so far. Will still be thumped back into the area. And again, Clark is quick and he's brave. Pleasantville, of course, were involved in that famous matchup in Trinity Mocha against East Mucurapo. They were 6-0 down at halftime, 8-0 down by the 65th minute. The game somehow ended 8-6, or 8-5 for that matter.
James, my eyeballs have seen a lot of football in my time, and I could safely say that was the strangest game of football I've ever seen in my life. Just when you thought it was done and dusted, well, it was done and dusted. It was the turn of events and the comeback of all time. And it was all really down to one player. It was like a one-man show in Williams for Pleasantville. I think the question in and around that Trinity College Mocha ground is, why don't they play like that every minute of a football game?
Our first job will be to get it to Williams. Alexander. This is Marshall pulling out of the back. Williams. Have he touched him, Grant? It's Niles fights to win back possession. Here. likes choking the ball around St. Benedict's College. It's one of the facets of their play last season that saw them progress all the way to topping a National League or winning the National League title. Since lost some key players, but it seems that the well of quality never runs dry. Laramine. Alexander played with W Connection last season in the TTPFL as one of their youth players. Well, that's good from Williams. He's kept possession. And they have won a throw. Can Grant keep it in? Well, the question was answered before your very eyes.
Despite being 1 goal up, St. Benedicts have not really been fluid in their possession and being able to completely take control of the game. From a territorial perspective, they have, because Pleasantville is playing rather deep. But outside of that, they've not really dominated and had their way in terms of possession and stroking the ball around and picking Pleasantville apart. It's still a bit too much individual reliance by St. Benedict's.
Morris. Here. Looking to carve them open, but it's well cut out. It's one back by St. Benedict's College. Here's Jeremiah Niles. Can he thread the needle? Grant, and that's 2. 2-0. The Lions roar.
And it's a good finish by Grant. Didn't have enough time to open up his body and pass it into the goal, so he improvised. It looked like he just had a short backlift and almost toe poked it in. Here it is here. Not enough time to open his body. Instead, looked like he just poked it in with his toe with enough power to get by the goalkeeper Clark. Didn't give him any chance. Good improvisation, good finish. 2-0 to Benedict's College.
Well, we did say at the start of the broadcast there was a mountain to climb. Well, that's gotten a lot steeper. 14 minutes in, and St. Benedict's College, well, total control. Anthony Williams. Niles, the architect of the last goal. That's good. Well, that's clumsy. Play continues. The man is down. And finally, the referee will allow the injured Pleasantville player to receive some attention. Joseph is the man in a bit of trouble after that collision.
Yeah, both players' eyes on the ball, but no communication. Someone, one out of the two, need to communicate. And maybe the respite that Pleasantville needs. They haven't played particularly bad. They've tried to defend, they've tried to put numbers behind the football. But they're coming up against a St. Benedict team with some very, very talented individuals and good quality throughout. As we did say at the top of this program, it's going to be very difficult for them. Of course, as Naparima College must be anxious there. A disappointing season for them. And this Coca-Cola Intercol gives them a chance to atone for the poor season. Of course, that season that saw the departure of their head coach, Travis Marine, and assistant coach, Anthony Sherwood. So it's all about trying to get things right, and this Coca-Cola Intercol is a perfect opportunity to do so. We've already had one major upset yesterday in Queen's Royal College beating Fatima. And if we're going to see more here today in the Southland.
Oh, here's Williams. Needed a better quality pass. He does rescue the situation. Williams running into traffic this time. Well, they'll battle for this and easily won back by St. Benedict's College. Grant. Keanu Maureen. Sean Morris looking for options ahead of him. Does find one in a good position. Can he get a shot away? Well blocked. Can Niles keep it in? Williams, time and space to whip in the ball. Well, comes off ahead of a green shirt, but Malachi Webb is there. Didn't make the right connection. And again, they arrow it in. Easily picked off by Pleasantville this time. And, well, nobody home at the intended address of that pass. Grant gets Jeremiah Niles in behind. Well, this is going to be a foot race that Niles is winning quite convincingly. And, well, just expected a shirt to be there, but this time they are. And what a save. The whistle does come. It's a penalty.
Yeah. And Coach Julian puts his head in his hands. Really self-inflicted. Looks like Wiley had the opportunity to clear, and Phillip looked like the one that made the infringement. All in one sequence. Goalkeeper Clark looked like he may have sustained an injury. So self-inflicted in the penalty perspective, and self-inflicted as a result to injury.
Well, to add insult to injury, despite the valiant effort of that man in goal, Clark, who is receiving some attention from the physio, Brian London. Might know him of Calypso Fiesta fame, former national extempo champion. Will have to defend against a penalty. Well, this is how it happened. Prior to that, late challenge in. Look at that for a save from Clark.
Yeah, it's a good save, but I think the infringement obviously on Grant as he was about to strike. It's one that caught the official's eyes. Again, they just needed to clear the ball, and they didn't do it. And it provided with that situation.
Clark will receive treatment. Was injured, bruised hip, suffered in that famous match we told you about. 8-5 defeat to East Mokarapo. And seems that it's checking his head. Of course, concussion protocol comes into play. Brian London just ensuring that hasn't suffered a concussion. Might be hard-pressed to lose your #1 goalkeeper, being down so early in the match.
Well, there's no complaints about the penalty kick. Again, the ball should have been cleared very late. Challenged there by Phillip. It looked like Anthony Williams, who originally had the opportunity to clear it. Instead, he miscued his clearance. And that man there, Grant, was in like a flash. Upended at the end by Phillip. Opportunity St. Benedict's.
Oh, no wonder they're smiling. Might have a chance of coming on early. They get good scoring. And it will be a miss. Wow. Keanu Maureen somehow contrived to drag that one wide.
Well, I thought it went in. Well, goalkeeper Clark didn't move, first and foremost. So he was beaten. And Maureen showed a lot of confidence in his run-up, but certainly not enough to put the ball into the back of the net.
There's still questions about Clark and whether he's fit enough to continue. At the moment, he has been allowed to remain in goal. You see him at the far end of the picture.
And he was hit at point blank range and with a lot of velocity in it. Don't think, James, he knows what day it is, and it's unfortunate. I really do hope he's okay. I'm looking at his body language, and it suggests that he's still a bit dazed.
Oh, during my time, I was at the end of a few of those. I can tell you it's never a pleasant experience.
I'm watching Colin Murray's reaction when you said that. I know exactly what he's thinking because he's that type of guy.
Well, again, they gift possession back to St. Benedict's College. Had a chance to pull 3 goals ahead. For Marine, so dragged his effort wide. Grant. Let's go all the way back to Michonne Alexander. Seems to be the architect of their possession play to build up everything through him. This time they almost give it away, but Grant will fight for it, and Jones could be in. And he's missed.
It's a good save, it looks like, from Clark.
Well, if there was ever a thought about recovery.
Yeah, I was about to say, if there's ever a sign that he's back. Jones breaks away. Clark looks like he gets that right hand to the ball to divert it away from the goal. It's a good save because James was rushing in with pace and he looked poised to put it into the back of the net.
Well, we'll have a chance here from the corner. Whipped in. Toss find ahead. Away by Pleasantville, not clearing the danger as Williams tries his luck getting it in. Well, look at this man. It's a breath of fresh air, Williams. Jalen Williams has got 2 bodies side by side, a chance to inflict it on St. Benedict's and, well, forcing T. Devonish into a save. Then that's just how dangerous he is.
Well, we got a taste of Williams and what he's all about. Direct, quick, and precise. That wasn't a bad run there by the young man. Ended with a shot on goal. Looked like he was hassled out of being able to put it on target. But James, if that is ever a warning for St. Benedict's, I hope they take heed.
Well, they have their first set piece after their first shot. Not shy to send bodies forward. Can he find a red shirt? He does. Can't keep his balance and they're appealing for something. Oh, not a bad effort. Team just still not cleared. Panic in the area. This time won back by Jones. St. Benedict's College. Malachi Webb was the target, well cut out. Adams. Here's Webb. Jones. He's got superior pace. He gets there first. Oh, he's gone past his man. Jones! What a finish! Well, Daddy certainly will be proud. And the Jones legacy continues. St. Benedict's, they lead 3-0.
That's a top finish. Got in this position here, gets past his defender with ease. And that was pinpoint by the marksman up front. Good pace, outthinks his defender, and out-tricks goalkeeper Clark, who left his first post open and paid it their price.
Well, signal to Daddy. Are you proud? Of course, his father, Philbert Jones, former TNT international. One of the supporters here.
Well, it's safe to say striking is in the Jones blood. Of course, Kenwin Jones, part of that family pool. And Philbert Jones, one of the top strikers in a 1989 strike squad team. I A team that came 1 point on November 19th away from qualifying then for the Italy World Cup in 1990.
Of course, later on, his nephew, Kenwin Jones, did qualify.
He did. He went one step further, of course. So the question is, James, is young Daniel Jones going to be the third Jones to go? I hope so for his sake.
Well, don't forget, you can capture all of the action on our SportsMax app. Download the app today, get it on Google Play, and download on the Apple Play Store. SportsMax, where you get all the action, SSFL and the ISA schoolboy football. Oh, heavy challenge, and will be a St. Benedict's through. Success of the current bunch of St. Benedict's players certainly have reinvigorated the football culture at the institution. St. Benedict's, as I did mention, one of the founding 6 schools in the Intercol competition back in 1908. And, well, since gone on to win 4 South Intercol titles, 2 national Intercol titles, and of course, more recently, the success last season winning the SSFL league competition. Oh, this is promising. Grant is there, collided with LaShawn Morris, and didn't see him. It's offside anyway. And when you look at the numbers, what story does that tell you?
Well, not necessarily total domination as I would have expected. I thought it would have been a bit higher than 60% possession. And the pass completion at 59%, it's on the lower end. You expected above 60 to 65 in the type of game we've seen so far. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier on. Despite the fact that St. Benedict's College are enjoying their dominance, they haven't been fluid, they haven't been team fluid. They've been individually good. That's why you see the pass completion still only at 59% despite the territorial dominance that they've had so far.
Here's Niles tackled out of possession. Well, it's really been shuttle service for that man up top, Williams. Just had to chase loose balls. Oh, look at this guy. Came all the way from Siparia. Former St. Benedict's College goalkeeper, Felix Vorzer, came from Siparia to support his former school. Became a midfielder as well. Reminds me of somebody, Brent Sancho. Did play in Texas in the U.S. Soccer Association. And he's here. Talk about reinvigoration of passion.
Yeah, it's always good to see past players coming to give support. And even though it might be someone that has not been in the school for quite some time, that affinity is still there for their alma mater. And a lot of these school teams and people like Felix Vorzer, they play an integral part in the current school setup, because they're the ones to make sure that these young men understand the fabric that is that school. We talk about St. Benedict's and their history in this competition, NAP's presentation, just to name a few. It's the old boys that present that. As we see that late challenge coming in, a little bit of elbow as well by Pierre. And it's good to see young Mr. Vorzer here supporting his team.
What about a player at the World Cup? Sylvia Span, one of your former teammates.
Yeah.
Former St. Benedict's College standout.
And at another school that's produced a host of very good players. They did go a bit dormant earlier in the Premiership beginnings, and now they've certainly sparked to life. And you look at the squad, you talked about the depth, James, and you just wonder with kind of legacy this St. Benedict's program is now going to leave. Fatima, another school with good depth, good history, good structure within it, and you do feel that they would challenge in the next year, 2, 3 years. You'd certainly have to place St. Benedict's College there. Naparima presentation as well. To name a few, Samoa North is becoming a consistent performer in the Premiership as we look at the cross-section of the crowd here.
So Pleasantville supporters as well, of course, the familiar maroon and white.
The women's program have done exceedingly well, Pleasantville.
Yeah, it's certainly into the Big Five of the women's competition, winning the South Zone quite convincingly. Well, this man is doing well for himself, Williams. He's gotten past another Williams, pushed out of possession. And wow, it's a Williams battle on. Well, maybe something can happen here to deflect off of Joshua Dimas. Still at Pleasantville. They found a burst of energy. This time St. Benedict's will clear the danger. Grant is well, illegally challenged. And that will be St. Benedict's free kick. Gray, the guilty man, who will have a talking to from the referee. It's ironic, though. Was the player just moments earlier receiving treatment himself? There we go. Thou shall not pass. Certainly left his calling card, and that man in your picture, Jaden Grant.
Well, it hasn't been necessarily the goal-scoring fest that we expected, but there still have been some goals and good ones at it. Improvisation by Grant, making it 2-0. The boys from Laramine with their tails up. And look at this for some individual brilliance. Jones continuing the legacy set by his father. And of course, Kenwin Jones as well. All part of that Jones striking bloodline. It's a very potent three-prong attack by St. Benedict's. We talked about some of the missing pieces of yesteryear, well, only last year. And they seem to have been able to replace it.
Yeah. Tariq Lee, Nicholas Bobcom, and even at the start of the season, Darrell Garcia.
Yeah.
He's gone off to Spain. Part of one of the soccer academies there. And, well, just seem to find them from somewhere. Tariq Lee, of course, has since graduated to Terminex La Hockta Rangers. Will be part of their squad this season. Nicholas Bobcom has gone on to the Defense Force. It's an interesting one, Nicholas Bobcom. He's got 10 CXC subjects and, well, decided that football is what he'd like to pursue. Williams. Grant is finding lots of space, lots of joy. Here, looking for Webb. Webb did get the first item for St. Benedict's. Well, tried to go Maverick. Easy in the end for Clark.
Yeah, and it's very clear how St. Benedict's wants to play. So get it as quickly as possible to their front three and get them in 1v1 situations. So a daunting task for any defense in this league to try to get a hold of Grant, Webb, and Jones. They've got power, pace, and deception, and then they have the line-breaking runs of that man there, Niles.
Oh, he's been at the heart of center of everything good for St. Benedict's. Maybe a trick. He's found his man. Thought about shooting. Well, needed some help to keep that down. It's way over the bar. Well past the half-hour mark. 36 minutes gone here at Mahaika Oval. Semi-final one. course, semi-final 2 will see the big heavyweights of Southern football, Naparima College and Presentation College San Fernando in action. Marine. He's won that back for St. Benedicts. Has he done too much? Does get some help. Losing out eventually. And Pleasantville can attack now. Keem has lost some fluidity. Just trading passes as Niles decides to go all alone. This time he's well stopped. We'll keep an eye on that battle. Williams feels that might have been fouled in the process. Referee didn't agree. Team Devonish, just one save to make so far in this match. It's largely been a spectator. Webb. Searching ball. Webb might be second to it. And the Pleasantville secondary happy to see that one going to touch. Oh, he did a better touch and St. Benedict's come charging. Here's Niles. Grant is looking for the return ball. Forced back to Adam Pear. Oh, that's clever. It's opened up some space. Just sense that their ball movement could be a tad quicker. As Pleasantville come away with it, here's Williams. And this time, it's a judge to be fouled.
Yeah, quicker and a bit more thoughtful in what they're doing. The over-reliance on their individual ability is certainly stymieing their ability to score more goals. I think with that talent that they have, if they can play a bit more intricate football, James, it may see them open up this very populous Pleasantville defense that is hanging around on the 18-yard box and making sure it's very difficult for St. Benedicts to get by them. That's when you have to be innovative. That's when you have to be creative from a team perspective, not individually. And we've seen on a couple of occasions that Jeremiah Niles, Grant on some occasions try to go it themselves. It's going to be tough because there are red shirts everywhere around the top of that 18-yard box.
Oh, yes, Williams. This time he's charged down. He's won a corner. It's a second of the first half. And both have been forced from that man, Williams. He's up for the challenge, certainly. But they certainly take their time getting to it. Pleasantville secondary has commit bodies forward. Hasn't had much to do, Team Devonish. Simon will be the man lining this one up. Got 6 red shirts in the area, and he find one just over the head of Williams. Try again, this time from a throw. Cameron Wiley. Did come off a red shirt last. It will be a goal kick for St. Benedict's as we enter the final 5 minutes of the first half. Don't forget, the SportsMax app is available. Download it on Google Play and get it at the Apple App Store. And you can capture all of the action on all of our channels by downloading the SportsMax app. Secondary school football and the ISA schoolboy football. Oh, that's gone against the men in green. Much to his bemusement.
Yeah. Not sure. Maybe that little extra push up on the left hand there by Niles to make sure he left the pitch.
Well, here's Webb. Intriguing opportunity.
Oh, Clark.
He made it look a lot more difficult than it really might have been.
Maybe could have taken it in a bit more, Webb. That's really been the story of the game as we look at Coach Julian from Pleasantville. That's just careless, giving the ball away in that area. Just felt there Webb could have shown a bit more patience and be a little bit smarter with that decision. That's a long way out to shoot. I think that's been the story of the game for St. Benedicts. They've not really been able to be team-orientated in their final third, in their attacking third, in the execution third. As I said, they're trying to go it alone. There's talent there, yes, individually, but I think collectively they will create more.
Oh, he's had little to nothing to do all match. Teen Devonish as Adams finally gets treated. They cool the temperature. It's not as hot as in previous matches today. Mahaika, some lingering clouds around the ground. Sure, the players more than anybody would enjoy that. It's just about 1.5 for the end of first half regulation, and what will be added, there was some stoppages, particularly with the goalkeeper. Expect that number might be significant. Oh, he's won that challenge. Here's Gray. Keith Robertson, and well, he's rode his luck, hasn't he? It's gone against him this time. Well, no need to translate that. Can tell exactly what he thinks about it. It's gone a bit flat from a St. Benedict's perspective. Just content to see it out to halftime. Are comfortable, not being pressed really by Pleasantville. Is there still life in this game as a contest?
I don't think so. I just think the sheer power and quality that St. Benedict's presents not going to allow Pleasantville back into this. And Pleasantville is just not throwing enough numbers forward when they do have the football. Maybe rightfully so, in the fear of losing the football and being counted on. So at 3-0, you could sense there's a high level of comfort for St. Benedict's, maybe for Aaron Touch by Grant.
Well, maybe it reminds you of another team in red. That's another story.
I still think, sorry James, that despite the fact that, as I said, they have had the dominance, I still feel that St. Benedict's could go up another gear or two. And certainly, yes, this is fine trying to pass the ball away, but they still need, I believe, their wing backs could push high up the park, and they could do exactly this higher up the park, maybe 20, 30 meters higher up, and build from the halfway line and pen Pleasantville back in their half. Instead, this is what's happening. The game's becoming a bit stretched.
Oh, is there something for Pleasantville before halftime? Gray. Keith Robinson. Aidan Gray giving away possession. In fact, he will win a throw. Last touch did come off of that man, Pierre. Niles. Oh, skipped past one challenge nicely. skipped past another. Can he open them up? Webb ran into a red light. Jaden Grant. He's got options out wide. Maureen, his touch is heavy, and it's fallen back to St. Benedict's College, who will tink it in the area. Couldn't find Jones. No real conviction in the service, but maybe now can't strike it. That's well defended. Pear. Did see Pear make his introduction in the opening match of the SSFL. Of course, that cup match between St. Benedicts and Fatima. St. Benedicts are clinching their first piece of silverware of this season. And he's since been able to find his way back into the starting lineup. It's Adam Pear. Anthony Williams. Grant. Oh, that's a good challenge. Alec Thompson taking no prisoners. He certainly will remember that challenge, Grant.
Yeah, mitty, legal, fair. I have to be careful how I choose my words with these tackles, because a certain individual is conspiring to judge that I was a tough, illegal tackler.
Well, the referee has seen enough. The first half has come to an end. A half that has been dominated in terms of goals for St. Benedict's College. In terms of control, Pleasantville, well, scoreline might flatter them. 3 different goal scorers in 45 minutes. 45 more minutes to go. Here at Mahaika Oval, it is St. Benedict's College 3, Pleasantville 0. We take a pause and come back with more. Welcome back to the Mahaika Oval. St. Benedict's College 3, Pleasantville 0, the halftime score. Let's look back at the action, at how it unfolded. Started with the whistle. And, well, error there, forcing an indirect free kick. And Malachi Webb, well, he certainly took advantage in the opening minute of the match, and that was 1-0. Then later on, Jeremiah Niles parting the sea. And look at that for a finish from Grant. Easy does it. And that was 2-0. Just squirming it under the keeper Clark. Could do nothing about it. Well, they certainly having the best view in the house. And then later on, look at this from Jones. Clever, losing his marker. And look at that for a finish. Son of former TNT international Philbert Jones, showing some of the traits of his father. Into the back of the net, and that was 3-0. Cruise control. Of course, the look up to daddy as well. Celebration. So that is how it ended. What does the numbers tell us? Well, look at that. It's quite lopsided. 13-1 in terms of shots. No shots on target for Pleasantville. And possession, St. Benedict's, they certainly control that. 60% compared to 40%. And the scoreline certainly reflects that. 3-0 to St. Benedict's College ahead of Pleasantville Secondary. I've got three wise men standing by, and they've got all the knowledge of the first half.
Thank you very much, James Saunders. Brent Sancho, let's get into it immediately. St. Benedict's College, are they on full 100, full steamers yet?
I wouldn't say full 100. I think there have been some good individual performances. I think as a collective, though, they seem to lack a little bit of fluidity, especially when they're trying to build out. I think they can start building a bit higher up the park, maybe at the halfway stage, and then try to pick them apart. For my liking, guys, I think there's too much individual reliance on individuals and not enough team chemistry, a little bit more in trying to be a little bit more, of course,
together, more
cohesive, correct, Hans, within that final third. And that's why you're seeing those shots from far, shots from difficult angles. They can be better. I think there's another gear there, maybe 3 or 4 going up. And if they are to do that, I think they'll blow Pleasantville out the water.
I mean, Colin Murray, what would you say as Coach Boyce right now to the young Chargers?
No, you got, as Brent is saying, I think he needs to get a little bit more teamwork going.
Yeah.
I think they're just looking at individuals. You got the Webb and you got Niles. They're picking up the ball, and you're not seeing that fluidity of the passing around. And that's the thing, you know. But, you know, you look at this Pleasantville team, and they haven't been that bad. Eh?
No.
You know,
No.
I feel sorry for that young Williams guy up front. I think he's a good player. He's a classy player. But he's alone.
Yeah.
He's got no help. But Pleasantville, and kudos to them, they're trying to play the ball out and trying to find players, but they just don't have the quality.
Yeah.
And Benedicts are shutting them down every time they start to play the ball around. And of course, they're holding Williams close. They know that's the danger man.
Yeah. Well, they may not have the quality, but do they have the fight to keep up for the next 45 minutes, Brent?
Well, the fight is there, and that's why the scoreline is not higher. I think they've set up a defensive line on top of their 18-yard box. They've made it difficult for St. Benedict's to break down. But I think, as Colin said, I think from the offensive side, when you win the football, how do you progress up the park to get, of course, company with Williams? Some of the goals that they've given away,
goals, guys,
of course, from a Pleasantville perspective has been poor. But from a St. Benedict's perspective, it's some good individual play. That improvisation from Grant, this bit of skill here from Jones, this is good top-notch stuff. But poor goalkeeping by Clark, because he allowed a goal on his first post. So if they could clear some of these things up Pleasantville, maybe they have a chance. But I think their focus on defense is such high alert that they have not really studied on trying to move the ball forward and join Williams in the attack.
Well, let's talk about from a coaching perspective, Colin Murray. Coach Julian, what does he need to say to these young men?
Well, you know, he's got to keep them the intensity. He's got to tell them, look, you got to keep the intensity. You got to keep focus at the back. I think he's got to keep them as a unit at the back. If he doesn't keep them as a unit and they start to go all over the place, they're going to run into problems. So that's the first thing. And then they got to try and get support up for Williams.
Yeah.
I think from the time you play that ball forward, he's got to get 2 or 3 players to support Williams. Because right now, you got 2 Benedicts guys or 3 just trying to close down Williams. And he's got so much skill. I've seen him gone past 2 and 3 guys all on his own. And he's looking around. And you know, he's decided, look, I'm just going on my own. So I think he's got to focus a little bit more on the defense, keeping together, you know, and not because what is happening, they're being torn apart.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Well, we actually saw that run from Williams making his way down the left side of the field, passing about 3-4 defenders. I mean, just showing that he has that quality. But is there any way Pleasantville can get back in this one, guys?
I think football is a funny sport, but it's not that funny because I just don't see it happening. All due respect for Pleasantville.
There's no ha-ha.
No, there's no ha-ha.
No funny. I can't see them getting, but I think Benedict's probably going to get another 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Well, regardless of what happens with this result, we give you all the action on the SportsMax app. Download the SportsMax app today and stay up to date with the Coca-Cola Intercol as well as the It's a Schoolboy football action on SportsMax. Google Play Store, Apple App Store. Head there, download it. All right, the score here at Mahaika Oval. 3 goals to St. Benedict's. Pleasantville secondary unable to score. When we come back, second half action, we find out who makes their way into the Coca-Cola South Zone Intercol final.
Well, everybody's here at the Mahaika Oval. It is the venue of this zonal semi-final. South Zone, St. Benedict's College leading Pleasantville Secondary by 3-0. And 3 different scorers. 45 more minutes remain, and one wonders what that might present for us. For those boys in green, well, another trip perhaps to another South Zone final might be in the cards for them. Pleasantville Secondary, well, it's a long journey that they've got to trod if they are to get any purchase from this match. Well, fans are certainly here in attendance. Point Fortin, the home of so many top sporting and cultural figures. Of course, one of the most notable, Kenwyn Jones, former TNT captain and Sunderland striker. His nephew would have scored today, and those guys have seen so many, from the De Leons to the Caves, etc., etc. They've all seen it, and a new generation with St. Benedict's College and Company producing the stars of the future. Well, speaking about the stars of the future, well, here's a future animal tamer perhaps. And, well, of course, Peanuts, always in attendance, always a part of any footballing action in these parts. Must have been a long, hard 15 minutes at the halftime break. Julian Roberts certainly would have imparted many things to him. Clark responsible for keeping the scoreline respectable. And he suspects that it might be another long 45 minutes remaining. All checks and balances completed. And the match is set to resume with a word of prayer. Don't forget, all of the action is live on our SportsMax app. And say good afternoon to all the folks locked in all around the Caribbean. CCN TV6 in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, the guys on YouTube, where there's always lots of discussion. St. Benedict's College have seen their fiercest rivals, Fatima, eliminated from the competition last evening. No slip-up so far for the Laramine Lions. Pull their socks up, and they've done the job in the first half. Oh, he's got one mission on his mind. That is to get the second half underway here at Mahaika Oval. 3-0 to St. Benedict's College, and 45 more minutes to play. "45 minutes of action. St. Benedict's in cruise control. What do you tell Pleasantville secondary players at halftime?
I think they have to focus on limiting St. Benedict's running up the scoreline, first and foremost, not allowing them to go further ahead. And I think, secondly, you have to find a way to be brave in possession. And that's important from a Pleasantville perspective.
So there has been some changes, 2 changes in fact. Trotman, Sonis, the players who've come on. And Jaden Grant, one of the goal scorers, as well as the left back, Anthony Williams, have made way. Change in attack and defense, both operating from the left wing. And the other new faces, the mission the same. Well, talking about mission, Nicholas Bobcom and Mark Saunders in deep conversation. Of course, Bobcom, a big part of the St. Benedict's team that went all the way to the finals last year, where they won the league championship. And well, that other fellow, just some guy from Moruga that carries the same surname as myself.
I'm sure he says the same about you.
Sibling rivalries. No, that's the traffic collision that has paused the game for the moment. It's finally play is restarted. Jeremiah Niles. Easily picked up by Pleasantville. Well, that's just troubling, and that's a fantastic save. Needed a strong arm. Certainly provided it's a corner. Oh, talk about making an instant impact. Adam Pear. But the sun has floated high in the area. Came off a green shirt, but in the wrong direction. But this is on target, and Clark was there. Made himself big. No spills. Malachi Webb was waiting eagerly for anything. Jaden Joseph loses out, and will be Pleasantville's ball. Williams, all eyes on him. Look at that, dancing feet. Well, it's always a dead end, but they to win back possession to Simon. Williams. Don't want to get him angry. Certainly got a touch of quality about him. First, he's got a green wall to get past. He's gotten past one so far. No success getting past the other. Certainly more positive from Pleasantville secondary in the opening few minutes. Well, just bumped out of possession by Pear, putting his body on the line. One back by Pleasantville, who can attack to Simon. Williams running into traffic this time. Easily dealt with by LaShawn Morris. Jones. Or maybe some space here for Malachi Webb to function. It's a foot race that he will be second to. And that will be a St. Benedict's throw. Well, certainly took a lot out of him, keeping up with Malachi Webb. And, well, normally you produce a license and insurance after that type of collision. This time you just concede a free kick. A throw for that matter. And the bruised body. Ah, he's all right. Shaheem Phillip. Well, this is promising. And a late challenge. No whistle. Keith Robinson. Alexander did miss a penalty in the first half. We'll go all the way back to Dimas. Alexander. This is Keanu Maureen. He's quite a physical player. It's a throw. Oh, here's a look at the substitute. Lewis. But he's turned nicely away from pressure. And, well, that's no man land. Williams never even attempted to go after it. Well, the intensity of the drums have increased as the stands have filled up nicely. It's certainly a delicious doubleheader on tap today. Naparimo College will take on presentation next. Naparimo College, one of the teams with the most amount of Intercol titles, 6 titles to their name. Joining a illustrious company, the likes of Malik and Signal Hill Secondary, who also have 6 titles. Oh, this could be interesting. Well, that's it, Williams. This is where he thrives, but a heavy touch And the moment was gone. Pear opened up the pitch nicely. Well, he's done well, attempting a shot, and Clark on the second attempt. Well, he's been an unmovable object, Clark.
He's been sturdy. And he's had a couple of shots now where he had to be positioned right, and he was. And he's been able to make that save. Again, go back to that horrific shot taken to the head. And he was able to obviously get past that. And importantly, that he did.
Man down is the cry. As yet another Pleasantville player requires the attention of Brian London. Not sure he's been busy singing at Carnival season, Brian London, as he has been in this match. It's quite a few occasions he's been on the field attending to players. This time, Aidan Gray is the latest casualty.
Well, we all know he's an ex-tempo champion. And you're right, James. I'm not sure if it requires the amount of activity that he's had today.
Well, that's a secondary school champion. Man they call Balu. It's always interesting, these nicknames. Randolph Boyce has acquired that name, having a word with Alexander. Certainly one of his more experienced players. I'll tell you what, some words from the coach to the player, some words from Hans, who's got a special guest.
I definitely do. Coach Brian Haynes, our national under-20 coach for Trinidad and Tobago. Let us know you've been following the league, looking at prospects. Tell us, what have you noticed of the league, and what are your comments?
The first thing I have to say is I'm so glad to be back in Trinidad to watch a little bit of college football, you know, and the thing that I like the most is the guys are very expressive in the way they play. For me, just to get to see all the different styles of play is a big deal for me. The other thing is the fact that I could see nobody.
Coach, I just need to just hold my cup, yeah?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's good to see that the guys are very comfortable on the ball because as Trinidadian players, that's the thing that I like most about us.
Yeah.
And it's just about getting to know these guys, getting to know what they like the most and what we can teach them, and go from there.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about improvement, because a lot of conversation has happened on what can we do to improve our current generation of players. What do you think is needed?
The passion has to come back, because when we played for the national team back in my times and even earlier, the passion that we had to represent the country was big. And so it's about making sure that these guys understand that they're not just playing another game, but they're playing for a country, and that's a big deal. So getting that passion back.
Thank you very much, Coach Haynes, for stopping by and speaking with us. Back over to the commentary team, James Saunders and Brent Sancho.
Well, he certainly had his eyes full of some of the future prospect for the national under-20 team, Brian Haynes. And well, Julian Roberts has his eyes on a change for Pleasantville secondary, as J.U. Allett is the new player that will come in. And out goes Aidan Joseph. Well, they do have a corner. Have started the second half a lot more positively than we saw the first half. Pleasantville secondary. Well, can't seem to make their mind up who wants to take the corner. It's finally settled now. It will be this man in your picture, Williams. I'd love to get something from this. Nobody home. Have to try again as Jeremiah Niles starts an attack on the opposite end. Well, Malachi Webb, his flag is down. Well, scratch that. Has come up. Just shifted into an offside position. I must say it's rather cool conditions here. Well grassed surface. Just a bit soft on the feet, but not too bad. Ball has moved quite nicely on the surface. Well, had his pocket picked. And finally, Pear wins it back and gives it right back to Pleasantville. Salandi. Substitute. Getting a touch, Jerry Allet. Well, he has to hurry. Naughty challenge, and well, got the just reward. It's a foul. Just another change. I think Pierre has made his way off St. Benedict's College. Joseph is the man coming in, Jeremiah Joseph. Yes, Williams. This time his magic wand could make the defender disappear. Will contend with a throw. A confirmation of the earlier change for Pleasantville. Just not making the passes stick at the moment, Pleasantville. Again, the game has drifted into snoozy walk fest. Well won by Alexander. How difficult is it maintaining tempo in a game like this where the opposition are quite content to sit back?
I think one of the reasons they have not been able to have a real chance here. That could be a penalty.
Oh, it's a good challenge.
Down, yeah, but it was a good challenge at the end. I think one of the reasons why they've struggled to have fluidity and keep that tempo up is because they've again lamented the fact there's been a little bit too many individuals trying to do too much. Instead of working the ball, working the angle, working the spaces, trying to open up, trying to create overloads, and trying to break this Pleasantville team down. It's been quite the opposite, which is they're trying to run it into the sea of red jerseys, which has not really given them much joy. That's what I was hoping to see a little better second half when it comes to that. See, again, I tried to be trying to be individually great when it didn't need it.
Oh, this time, just punishment. Malachi Webb picking up the yellow card. Pleasantville looking to spring a surprise as well. Gone past the hour mark in this fixture. St. Benedict's, as they were at halftime, leading by 3-0. Goals scored by Webb, Jones, and Grant. And, well, speaking of Webb, certainly got himself tangled in the web there.
Deserved it. And again, he didn't need to get into that situation. Just pop the ball back out wide, open up, create a different angle for your teammate. They've really made this hard work, this performance by St. Benedict's. It's a good ball. It's offside. Again, don't need to be offside. He's looking right across the line. It's a lot of those sorts of things. James have, of course, been part of the problem as to why the scoreline is not going upwards. Instead, it's been very much the same. All that being said, I don't see Pleasantville getting back into this one.
Oh, done little to suggest that they can get goals, Pleasantville. Then, of course, seen different storylines turn around the blink of an eye. Don't forget, of course, you can capture all of the action on the SportsMax app. Download the app today. Get it on Google Play. Download it at the Apple Store. Get all of the highlights, all of the action from our multiple platforms and multiple channels by downloading the SportsMax app today. There's Salandi. Williams. And, well, Tain Davinish finally gets his glove dirty. Oh, Williams. Good tackle coming in from Dimas. Keith Robinson, company running into trouble. They'll try again though. There's a tad bit of sunshine starting to peek out at the far end of the field. Oh, he's done really well to break the lines. Maureen. Yes, Jones, he's been silent this second half. Well, silent no more. Certainly rung the alarm on the opposite side of the post. What a way to say that you're still around. Something is quite pedestrian at the moment. Well, not anymore. Can get in behind is Joseph. Well won by Pleasantville. Keith Robertson not winning that one, and Maureen sparging through everybody. That will be a goal kick. Oh, there's another change. Friday is in. And Gray is out. Well, what a day to make your appearance on a Friday, and you're called Friday. Well, that is goal number 4.
Yeah.
You felt it was coming, and they've finally been able to interrupt the snooze fest for a goal fest.
Well, a carbon copy of his goal in the first half. Young Jones. Again, Clark leaving the first post open. Muscles his way past the first defender, spade part the second, and guides the ball past the third. The third being Clark, the goalkeeper, who again left his first post open and give Jones the easiest of tasks of just tapping it by him. Good finish by the young man. Good run by Jones. I'm not so sure about the celebration. Nevertheless, 4-0 to St. Benedicts. As I said in the first half, James, it's a game set match.
Well, he did give a warning earlier where he struck the side netting. Well, I guess the warning shots only come in ones these days. After that, it's time for action. 4-0. Just can't see Pleasantville finding a way back from this. Of course, they got to this point, Pleasantville, defeating Moruga, the South Zone Championship winners, by 3-1. Only their second win of the season, of course. 12 losses, 1 win, 1 draw. So 1 win in the Intercol competition, 1 win in the Premier competition. So Benedicts, though, well, can argue that they're perhaps the new favorites. 12 games unbeaten, and from the look of things, if this result stands, it'll be 13 unbeaten. And they're in cruise control. Clark, it's brave and good catch. Lost his footing there. Solandi sends it all the way back to Phillip. Oh, that's just untidy. They've lost possession in a bad area. And substitute can get in here. Chotman. It's won a corner. Also, Benedicts, on the other hand, they will look to make yet another change. The scorer of the first goal, Malachi Webb. It's the end of his afternoon. And Akel Vespri will make his entrance. Of course, Akel Vespri, we'll see him later on at Naparima College. This one is Akel Vespri. Alexander. Shotman. Oh, he's gone past 2, lost his footing, and we'll have a free kick. Inside the final 20 minutes of the match. Shari Man Niles tried to get past that 2-man wall. Instrumental in the second St. Benedict's goal, scored by Jaden Grant. Well, how about that for unmatching pair of boots? Well, can he match a finish that was provided earlier? It's a foul. Have the opportunity from the set piece, and well, Jones grabs on and he says, I want this one, it's all mine.
Looking for that hat-trick. Deserves it. It's been consistent for most of the afternoon. It's another foul there. Really unnecessary, though, you'd have to say. Robertson sticking a boot in when Jones was going across and possibly away from the goal. Free kick in a dangerous position.
Well, a hat-trick could be on the card for Jones. Oh, he's done it! Abracadabra! He's a magician. And they love it. He loves it.
Well, he had one thing on his mind, and that was putting it past Clark. Did the right thing. Side-footed it, passed it in the net, used the surface, the slick surface, to generate speed. And Clark, with all his might, couldn't get there. 5 goals to St. Benedict's, 3 to Jones. And I'm very sure the producer doesn't have to ask me who the man of the match is.
tell you who it's not. Nobody in red. It's Pleasantville. Tried to get a good moment, but that's well broken up there by Joshua Dimas. Oh, that's a good touch. Sean Morris, the crowd appreciating it. Finding space down the left. Bodies inside, waiting for the service. Well, Clark was beaten, but his defense, they weren't. It's a corner.
Yeah, none of the attackers really gambling there and taking a chance. As we look at the stats, 69% pass completion for the Benedicts, 51 for Pleasantville. That's going up for them, Pleasantville. And possession, 62% and 38%. The possession is going up for St. Benedicts.
Just feel with the amount of time and space St. Benedicts have had. Pass completion could have been a bit higher.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is down to their poor work in the...
On a gamble. Wow. Can't win if you don't purchase a ticket.
That's more than a ticket. Yeah, I was about to say, I think when they get into the final thirds in Benedicts, that's where they put their individual hats on. And just as I said, I've been saying it all game, I've liked to see them use a little bit more team play in that third, instead of just dribbling and trying to take on players individually.
Well, Jones has already scored 3 goals. Certainly will have his name in the headlines tomorrow.
This is better.
Joseph queuing up now. This time Clark is well behind it. Oh, such an iconic venue. Mahiko Oval. Hosted some big matches in the past. And it will be the home of Heritage Point Fortin Civic next week as the TT Premier League also begins right here on SportsMax. Oh, this is better. Salandi. Finally stringing passes together. Well, commentators curse. Could be redemption. It's a throw. Might be more changes on the cards as Salandi takes a breather. And it's Jelani Roberts set to come in. And he will replace Deshaun Adams. Oh, just at the top left of your picture, Presentation College is getting warmed up and ready for action. They'll be up next. Disappointing season for them, as well as Naparima Ecology 2019 champions. Presentation just managing to leapfrog Naparima into 4th position at the end of the league campaign. Certainly makes the upcoming match a delicious one to look at. Alexander. Oh, that's a naughty challenge. Pleasantville will have another look. It's been a frustrating afternoon for them from an attacking perspective. Haven't been able to get near to that man in your picture, Teen Devonish. Oh, he had to get near to that one.
Commentator's curse. Strikes again. Tell you what, Philip really got a hold of that. Definitely too far out to beat Goalkeeper of Devonish's quality. Nevertheless, it's a good strike.
Maureen. Vespri has been chipped up. Played the advantage. It's a free kick now, though. Edge of the area. The last one that we saw from this type of range, well, the end result didn't favor the team in red. Oh, how about audition for a new goal scorer? Keanu Maureen fancies his hand from this sort of range. Well, Clark keeps him out, but can he keep out another one? Just lost his footing, Vespri. Well, he's been held up. He's not happy about it. Jerry Allet. Well, we did expect that St. Benedict's College might have been difficult to contain in terms of goal, but when you look at the match, Brent, has it played out as expected for you?
Yeah, I think it has. I think the dominance that we expected from St. Benedict certainly transpired. It's not the type of team performance that we expected, however. But then again, it's been made difficult by Pleasantville and the way they've set themselves up. They've clogged the middle of the park. They've dropped very, very deep.
Well, this looks inviting. It's Jones, son of Beaver. Vespri, well blocked. Talk about putting your body on the line, Malik Thompson. Oh, good time to look at our SportsMax app moment. And look at this from Jones. Oh, whoopsie. Slipped his man. Slipped it past the keeper. Thing of class. Peep the celebration. Daddy's proud. Can you be sure about that? So SportsMax app moment. Here's Maureen. Well, Niles. It's clever. It's almost spectacular as well. Just lost the composure at the end. Inside the final 10 minutes of the first semi-final, St. Benedict's College well in charge, 5-0. They lead Pleasantville Secondary. Philip Salandi connecting the dots well. Well, it's a lot better than we've seen. And, well, that's the end of the road in terms of the bit of quality. Swapping goalkeeping positions. Samuel Glasgow will have an opportunity to at least view the match on the back of the defense. Team Devonish didn't have that much action. Simon Salandi. It's Philip. What lessons do you think have been learned for teams like Pleasantville this season?
I think Pleasantville would look back at this and now have an understanding as to what the levels are. They've been relegated to the championship division. They've a bit of what you call a yo-yo club. They're back and forth between the Premiership and the championship, and playing against a team like St. Benedicts shows you the levels that you need to be on to stay up. And hopefully a lot of these young men are back in Pleasantville colours next season, and they would have learned from the experience. They certainly have had moments in today's game, not brilliant, but some good moments. And you would like to see them learning from it. Under Coach Julian, certainly the performances have improved. We saw them against East Mokrapo, a stellar second half. And then here again today, albeit it's 5-0, they've still managed to try to keep some sort of shape and organization. And for that, you have to give Coach Julian credit. I think for St. Benedict's College, really and truly, they are their worst enemy. Because if they are complacent and they don't have the energy levels into the games to come, they may find themselves on the short end of the stick. So it's key for them to keep that very, very high level that they've shown in that, what's it now, 13 games unbeaten, James? Got to continue it.
Well, it was progressive while it lasted, and it's easy now as Glasgow will get his first touch. Oh, can't push players in the back like that. Thompson just barging into the back of Jones. Well, the referee's going to call that back. Wants it retaken. It's been a tough match. And it's been particularly tough for the team wearing red.
Well, one thing we can say, James, they haven't stopped running. They haven't stopped trying to get themselves back into this game. That's a credit to them. They've had a tough season. They've had a lot of bad results. And of course, they conceded 72 goals, James, throughout the Premiership season. And that's with them not finishing the rostered fixtures that they had. They still have an outstanding game against Malik Secondary. And that is disappointing. So they've had a lot of downs, but I think today there are a lot of positives coming out of it despite the scoreline. They've not given up. And when you're coaching young men, that's one of the first things you tell them, that you're not going to have things all your way every day. They've not had it all their way, but they have to be able to keep fighting, and with that fight comes improvement.
Oh, certainly lots of tough lessons. Cameron Wiley and company. Lots of reflection at the end of the season as well. Bested by a team full of quality. A team that has been at the highest echelon of secondary school football the last 2 seasons. Foul.
You might even suggest, James, that if it wasn't for that poor start, it might have been a higher result. They've obviously finished second. Fatima College eventual winners, but they did have a very poor start. I believe it was like 1 win in 4 games. In the beginning, they had a poor result in the opener that we covered against San Juan North. And then they had that loss to East Mokrapo as well. Then they came down to Fatima College and had a draw. And they just somehow during the course of the season got back to that rhythm that made them champions last year. It's very difficult to count them out of the conversation of who will be the Coca-Cola Intercol champions. Again, I lament on the fact that maybe the zonal structure of the Intercol may need to be looked at, because here in the South Zone, there are at least 3 schools that could be considered in the top 5 schools in the nation. And at least one of them will not be moving on, or at least 2 of them moving out of the South, which I just don't see that making any sense, especially when you want to see the creme de la creme face each other. That's the only way you'd have development and player development. And maybe look at it in a way of seeding teams 1 through 8 and bringing it all the way through our quarterfinals and make sure that we continuously get the best talent playing against the best talent. Of course, Fatima upended by Queen's Royal College yesterday in the North Zone. But I would have liked to see both Fatima and QRC advancing and probably playing as St. Benedicts or Presentation. But certainly the zonal structure may need to be revisited. And I say that, James, under the guidance that they've done it for the league format of it. They got rid of the zones for the league format. So maybe they need to look at it for the knockout format as well.
My memory serves correctly, might have been one of the formats several years ago. Certainly a lot longer than they were wrong, those Naparima supporters. Look at the numbers. It's always a large turnout. Very well educated in their football as well. 0.14 supporters. Seen lots of messy jerseys around. Inter Miami fans, perhaps.
I think you're correct in what you said first. Messy jerseys, not necessarily Inter Miami fans. Because I'm very sure before Messi arrived, we didn't see so many pink and black tops.
They were supporting Joving Jones.
Correct. As we could see again, the bevy of pink tops.
Sure, it's not Jones on the back, though.
I won't be surprised. But that club buoyed by the fact of the arrival of Lionel Messi. I was actually in Florida when he first signed, James, and you could actually feel the state tilt to one side. It got very heavy.
Well, this is interesting. And that's a good save. Just did enough. Stick the boots out. It's the hardest work on the pitch.
He's following up on the performance he gave against East Mokorapo the last time our cameras had him in sight. Goalkeeper Clark.
Oh, Canals conjure up something special. Well, Clark missed it. And his whistle might have been impeded. It's a lucky boy. In fact, it might have been Salandi, the one that was impeded. Inside the 3 minutes that have been added, halfway through, it's Keith Robinson. Maureen. Oh, I'm not sure who the target of that pass was. Not sure they knew either. So, the Benedict's old boys are out.
Another trip to a South final for the Lions of Laramie. It's just remarkable how quickly things can turn around for a program once you put the right structures in place. Remember the St. Benedict's College under Leonson Lewis back then. The team was still in the building phases, and now they've stuck with the task, and they've seen a lot of returns.
Might have Dexter Cyrus to that mix as well.
Of course, Dexter Cyrus as well. All part of that rebuilding process. to see this team now move up into where they are.
Oh, that's where I'd like to be. Certainly having more fun than anybody.
At some point, you must get dizzy. I'm very sure about that. I'm dizzy just watching them.
It's been dizzying at time looking at the levels of the likes of Jones, who's copped a hat-trick today. And that's it. 90 minutes completed. Job done for the men in green. Keanu Moraine and company finishing the task that was set before them. Well, for Pleasantville secondary, it is the end of the road for a disappointing secondary school campaign. They will learn. But that man, star performer, Jones, and well, he's done it in front of his hometown as well. 3 goals on the afternoon. Reflection for the men in red. Here at the Michael Oval at the end of 90 minutes, and Benedicts College are into another South Zone final, winning by 5 goals to 0. All right, let's roll the tape. Look back at the pictures. Early error inside the 2nd minute. And Malachi Webb make them pay. Oh, nobody was getting a hand anywhere close to that. The indirect free kick, that was 1-0. Then Niles parting the sea, and Grant doing the honors. Clever finish. All it needed was a toe. Balvey perhaps having the best view, reliving the moment. And then Jones, look at this. Whoopsie! Getting past 1. And getting the 3rd. 3 must have been the magic number. Look at that. Silky smooth. Wonderful finish. It's ironic that he scored the 3rd goal, because 3 was the number that would stick around in his memory for a while, because he would get more. Almost in similar fashion. Burst of pace, too much for anybody. And that was his 2nd. St. Benedict's 4th. Oh, Clark, perhaps disgusted by the sight of the back of Jones every single time. Look at this. Nitrous oxide, anybody? Whoosh. And then the whoosh in the net. Stardy in the crowd, and of course, well, don't know what you call that celebration. And then later, the free kick, the dagger, into the heart of Pleasantville secondary. That was the hat-trick. And that's the goal that will make him the talking point of St. Benedict's College tomorrow. Somebody might be buying him lunch. 3 goals. There we go. They know what the deal is. All right, let's see how we can crunch the numbers. And, well, if you're in a content, it's very simple. St. Benedict's College dominant. Look at that, shots. Only 2 on target for Pleasantville. Well, 16 fouls in total, spread about evenly. St. Benedict's College dominating possession, but St. Benedict's College also dominating the scoreline, 5 to their credit. Tell you what, 3 of those 5 belongs to one man, and that man is standing by with Hans de Wiens.
From Labre, here's your trophy man of the match, your NGC man of the match, Daniel Jones, better known as Pamo Jr. Tell me, who do you dedicate this trophy to today?
My dad and my mom, and he stands there, if you could see. You know, it's just a pleasure to get this for the first time, and hopefully I could continue on repetition.
All right, now how do you prepare for the next matchup? It's going to be either Naparima College or Presentation College. Who do you want to meet, and how are you going to prepare?
Well, football is playing the day, so, you know, but what I could say is keep doing the same thing, and professionalism is consistency. So just keep doing the same thing, and keep going forward.
Well, we look forward to the consistency. Congratulations to you. You are NGC man of the match. Over to Colin Murray with the coaches.
Coach, tough day at the office.
Yes, it was.
I mean, you expected it. You expected it, that tough day at the office?
Well, no coach comes out expecting his team to lose, but Benedicts is a team, they put in their work during the preseason, and that's a result of hard work.
What have you learned from this going forward?
Well, there's a lot to learn. I don't think we have time, but yeah, but trust me, Pleasantville will be back, come back next season, bounce back up, and we'll start fighting back. No
Good
problems.
luck. Well done.
Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah.
Well, we have Coach Randall Boyce, the winning coach. Coach, easy victory, really expected. You really expected an easy game today?
Not really, I would say, but because it's a knockout and anything could happen, we never try to underestimate the opposition. They played different from when we played them last time. This time they play a little more compact and a little more tight. They look a little more composed and a little more organized in what they were trying to do. But we had the quality and the ability to put the ball down and move it around and try and get the goals today to see us through.
Well, you're into the final, either press or naps. Does it make a difference? How are you going to prepare for that?
No difference. We're going to stay back. We're going to look at the game, two quality teams, and we're going to, depend on who win, we prepare different for either one of them.
Congrats again. Congrats, Coach, and good luck in the final.
Thanks very much, sir.
St. Benedict's College have booked their place in the Coca-Cola Intercol South Zone Finals. Who will they place again? Who will they play against? Naparima College or Presentation College? The final score here in our first game: St. Benedict's College 5, Pleasantville Secondary School 0. We'll be back with more action here at the Mahaika Oval, but we say goodbye to our viewers on CCN TV6 as we continue Coca-Cola Intercol action.